The farther west I came, the worse it got. Don't drive. I should have stayed at home.
The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is also urging drivers to avoid unnecessary travel as wind gusts near 50 miles per hour continue to cause blowing and drifting snow. In Pewaukee, Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
As the war in Iran enters its third week, President Trump told reporters on Air Force One Sunday night he's talking to countries about policing the Strait of Hormuz. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said his government is in conversations with the U.S. and other countries to get the strait reopened, adding any solution cannot come at the expense of supporting Ukraine against Russia's invasion.
We cannot allow the war in the Gulf to turn into a windfall for Putin.
Trump said other countries should step in and assist because it affects them more than the U.S. The president also says Iran wants to make a deal, but he's not ready. He made the comment in a wide-ranging weekend phone interview with NBC News, adding that the terms aren't good enough yet. New evidence in the search for Nancy Guthrie still images outside of Guthrie's home before and after the kidnapping have been recovered. Still no sign of Guthrie. Investigators have not yet named a suspect. One battle after another, the big winner from last night's Academy Awards. The film won 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay. Meanwhile, Michael B. Jordan took home his first Oscar for actor and a leading role for his role in Sinners. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is up 433 points. The Nasdaq up 265. S&P 500 up 68. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 10:05.
Hey, Monday and Tuesday can be a real challenge, right? Make it easier with a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love easy, and I love the Fox and Hounds. It's a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Plus, when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Enjoy a choice steak, the twin lobster tails, the braised pork shank. How about ribs, pasta, seafood, even a big, huge, fresh salad? Any entree, your second dinner is free. Dessert and ice cream drinks, I love those. Also, buy one, get one free. Buy two, get two free. Buy for the table. 4 desserts, get 4 free. Relax with a cocktail, over 20 bourbons, 100 wines. Old World Bar is elegant, 8 beautiful dining rooms. Wherever you live, it's worth a beautiful drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest to the Fox and Hounds. Start your week with a free dinner at the award-winning Fox and Hounds just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill. Tables are open, serving from 4. Dine early at the Fox and Hounds.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristen Bry, and I want to tell you about the dentist I recommend, my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Commonwealth Dental Care. If you've been putting off a cleaning, dealing with tooth sensitivity, or you're ready to finally fix what's been bothering you, this is a great place to start. Dr. Michaels and his team are welcoming, thorough, and focused on your comfort. They explain your options clearly and help you feel at ease in the chair. From regular checkups to crowns, cosmetic improvements, implants, and Invisalign, they can handle it all. And if something happens unexpectedly, they offer emergency dentistry too. I make the drive from Milwaukee to Oconomowoc just to see Dr. Michaels and his fantastic staff. They're that good. So call 262-567-7224 to request an appointment today, or just visit drmichaelsdentalcare.com. That's 262-567-7224 or drmichaelsdentalcare.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Wisconsin men's basketball team's going dancing. Badgers selected as the 5th seed in the West region of the NCAA tournament. They play High Point in round 1. Wisconsin women's basketball team made the WBIT. They head west to play Oregon State in round 1 on Thursday. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Milwaukee Bucks beat the Indiana Pacers 134-123 at home. They're back in action Tuesday for a home matchup with the Cavaliers. And the Brewers broke up a perfect game in the 9th inning, losing 7-1 to the San Francisco Giants. They're back in action today to face the Los Angeles Dodgers. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a crash blocking the right lane, I-41 south, about a half mile beyond the ramp from Wisconsin Highway 158. Slow spots, I-94 westbound, the Zoo interchange to Highway 16, eastbound, back the other way, 16 to the Zoo interchange and 43 south, Brown Deer Road to downtown.
This report sponsored by Exterior Pros and Baths. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation. Don't just upgrade, transform your home. From bold exteriors to breathtaking baths, Exterior Pros makes it happen. Exterior Pros. Trust the pros.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fleet Farm Storm Team alert blizzard warning in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin till 4. Snow and wind up to 6 inches in Milwaukee, up to a foot in the far northwest part. High today 25. Patchy blowing snow tonight with a low of 7. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 22. Rain and snow mix possible on Wednesday with a high 37. Sunshine Thursday and Friday. Thursday 43, Friday's high 47. 21 in Madison, 19 in Green Bay, 22 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
And good morning, everybody. Kristen is on a bit of a snow day this morning, so we'll check in with her about 10:35, see the latest conditions in her neck of the woods. But Matt Smith has found his way into our studio. How are you? Political director, Channel 12, host of Up Front, along with Jared and Jordan.
Lovely Monday.
How was your drive in?
It wasn't bad. I mean, listen, if you take it slow, right?
Yeah.
As they say, the wind, the plows are trying to keep up. But, yeah, all things considered, we've done worse.
Yeah, and just I don't want to get too far off the political topics, but a couple things. One, give yourself at least twice the regular time to get to. And if you don't have to be at work, you have a sort of a flexible schedule, I would wait like an hour or two, maybe longer. If you can start later, that would be a great help for all the folks who have to deal with the snow. Yeah, it took me twice as long, and I saw, I don't know how many people go into a left or right turn lane and got stuck with their cars. Now, I got a Jeep. I got four-wheel drive. I was elevated. I never went faster than like 45 miles an hour.
There's some speed racers out there who still think they can dominate.
Yeah, the truck guys are probably the biggest offenders, especially young truck guys. And one more thing. Remember the snow shovel creed, right? Ooh. Don't do more work than you do it like on a normal day or physically, because you can hurt yourself and it can be dangerous, especially when you're like the only person out there.
Yeah.
Because if you go down, it's going to be a while before someone sees you. So exercise caution there. And if you got a neighbor that needs help with that stuff, please help them, because this is a snow event.
It's heavy.
It's crazy.
That snow
What did the Twin Cities get? I mean, they were getting nailed too.
Yeah.
Eau Claire and Wausau, almost 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we always talk about with Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12, up front always has the newsmakers, and certainly the conversation about some of the betting bills that are out there, including the conversation about online betting, is heating up. Now, we know that the legislature, they're scheduled to have like their last session tomorrow, right?
Senate, yes.
Senate, yes.
Yeah, the state Senate. I guess we'll see at this point, right? I mean, all the lawmakers are going to have to travel today.
Yeah, they might get a snow
theory.
day. Yeah.
If you're up in the Northwoods, if you're in Ashland, if you're in Green Bay, those could be some long commutes. We haven't seen the calendar, which we kind of have expected, but as we saw yesterday on the show, there's some drama among Senate Republicans headed in tomorrow for some of these bills that did pass the Assembly.
Yeah, I know you had Chris Capping in studio, and we got a little clip from him sort of talking about the dynamics and the process of trying to move some of this stuff forward.
Precedent has always been you've got to have that rule of 17, if it's Republicans or Democrat votes. So I hope the majority leader doesn't go there. I think it's very dangerous for him if he does go there. So I just hope it doesn't happen.
Politically dangerous?
Absolutely, yeah. Historically, usually a majority leader does not come back if he brings if he breaks the rule of 17. So I hope the majority leader takes that into account.
He's talking about Devin LeMahieu.
Yeah, and he's talking about the sports betting bill and the NIL bill.
Yes.
Specifically.
So he said, and I watched the whole interview, he said pretty, firmly, I'm not a supporter of this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure where Devin LeMahieu is on it, other than he might be open to a conversation.
Yeah, so it's fascinating because the NIL bill is Devin's bill. So he is a firm backer of that.
Right.
He told me,
for people who don't know what they talking about.
So this is the bill that you're right. Let's back up a second. That would essentially allocate $15 million a year in state funds for debt services for athletic facilities at UW-Madison. That essentially frees up that money for revenue sharing, which these universities can now participate in, essentially paying athletes to pay for the team to remain competitive. It's this new world of the name, image, likeness contracts. As part of that, it also allows universities to pay athletes. It passed the Assembly. there is not enough Republican support to pass with just Republican votes in the Senate. So the question is whether Senator LeMahieu is going to bring these two bills to the floor, which would require Democratic votes to pass.
You had Senator Hasselbein on the show as well. She's also talking about the same subject. Let's play a little bit of that clip, hearing the other side of the story. If we can get Jazz to play that for us.
Senator, bring us behind the scenes a little bit. When you have bills like this, like the NIL, like the sports betting, are you trying to convince Senator LeMahieu to get on the floor? There's some Republicans convincing him not to. What does this look like between now and Tuesday?
Yeah, it's just a lot of conversations, a lot of phone calls that I'm making with members, seeing what their thoughts are on it. What do they think of it? There are certain people that are in favor and some people aren't. So just trying to figure out what people want to do.
So looking at it from a journalist perspective, they're talking a good game. They want to sort of sort this stuff out. Some behind-the-scenes conversations happening. I just personally don't think, just really speculative in my opinion, that it's not going to happen. But it might, but I don't think so.
And it's fascinating because both passed the Assembly with bipartisan support. The NIL bill was 95-1 in the state Assembly. The Senate is different, right? Like the dynamics and the politics of the state Senate are different. We've seen massive lobbying campaigns on both of these bills. The Badgers, we had Chris McIntosh on the show last weekend. They are out talking about this heavily. We've heard radio ads, TV ads on the sports betting bill. There's a ton of lobbying behind that. So it's going to be fascinating to see what develops over the next 24 hours.
He is Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12, host of Upfronts. We'll continue the conversation after the break. Interesting that also as part of the Upfront conversation, they're talking about what could happen with some of the measures related to tax relief, a tax bill, sort of a payment to taxpayers. We'll dig into that with Matt, our guest for the next few minutes on Point Taken on the Monday edition, minus Kristen Bry, right here on 620 WTMJ.
All your favorite interviews and best moments live in one place.
You know, I'm working in the morning, and I was listening back on the Truth app.
Download the new 1017 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 The Truth.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Walney Legal Group specializes in estate planning, wills, trust, probate, elder care, special needs planning, custom personalized experience. That's why it matters. Not a cookie cutter, one size fits all. Estate planning is an uncomfortable necessity. Walney makes it smooth, easy, as painless as possible. They take care of you from start to finish. Their motto, lawyering the way it should be. Clear communication, niche expertise, personal service, modern approach. They've won many awards, not surprised. Best lawyers in America. And Attorney Walney has been named a 5-star estate planner more times than any other lawyer in Wisconsin. They help everybody, young adults, business owners, families, retirees, high net worth, blended families, professionals. Anyone over the age of 18 can be impacted by estate planning. Only 16%, that's a low number, have appropriate current planning documents. You can't set it and forget it. It's been a few years. Have Walney Legal Group review and update it. They've seen a lack of planning even impact younger adults. Protect yourself by getting some powers of attorney in place. They're friendly, creative, sensible, and smart. Walney Legal Group, as they say, visit walneylegal.com to start a conversation no matter what phase you're in.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At Og Prep, faith ignites excellence in academics, the arts, athletics, and every aspect of our lives. Students don't just realize their full potential, we learn to soar. The #1 K-12 school in Milwaukee is expanding to the North Shore and is now enrolling grades K4 through 6th and 9th. Og Prep North, made for more. Apply today at ogprep.org.
Hi, it's David Nason from The Fix-It Show on WTMJ. Every Saturday morning, we talk about keeping your home in top shape. One issue I hear all the time, wet basements and foundation problems.
And that's where Accurate Basement Repair comes in. I'm Chris Mancuso, and for over 20 years, we've been The Fix-It Show's trusted experts in foundation repair and waterproofing.
Don't wait until the problem gets worse. Visit AccurateBasementRepair.com.
Accurate Basement Repair.
We're not just good, we're accurate. Catch Accurate Basement Repair on The Fix-It Show and WTMJ.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. Where'd you go? You gotta know where to go. It's snowy outside. Matt Smith joining us, political director at Channel 12 and host of Upfront. The other conversation, of course, has to do with tax relief, a tax bill package, whether, at some point we're going to have a special session.
Yeah.
What did your guests have to say about that?
Yeah, so, before tomorrow, right? The whole thought was let's get this done before the session comes to an end. And if we're talking about the state Senate, that would be tomorrow. No one seemed optimistic, right, that there was going to be this grand deal reached in the last 72 hours ahead of tomorrow. Senate Republicans say they will not accept any deal that does not include rebate checks back to taxpayers.
I think the Senator Kapiga said $1,000 is the number he used. Right?
Yeah,
yes.
$1,000 married couple, 500 individuals is the proposal. The governor wants more money into education,
and they were going to try to
find
figure
some
out
happy medium.
Yeah, he used the word compromise.
Yeah, the governor has said he does not like the rebate check proposal that much. He wants more money put down on the levies for more widespread and I guess long-term property tax relief. So the question is there some happy medium? Senator Kapiga said Republicans would at least be interested in the conversation of putting some more money towards education if they get their rebate checks. Whether they can find that sweet spot, I guess, is to be determined. And to the governor's point, he said, listen, we have all year to do this. The legislature does not have to leave. There's no state law that says we have to be done at this point.
Tradition says they're going to leave,
Yes, tradition says that this is what usually always happens. So, I mean, legally and technically, they can still come back in whenever as these negotiations continue. I think there's a benefit for everyone, for Democrats, for Republicans, to have some type of property tax relief ahead of the election.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is some shared consensus that a special session for that issue would more than likely be a real special session.
Yeah, it seems like both chambers are at least somewhat open to that possibility, and I think that goes back to the benefit, right? To be able to campaign on whether it be property tax relief or rebate checks, something substantial that both sides could claim a victory on. They want to have that going into the fall.
Anything else from your Senate state Senate guest the sort of what we should be thinking about when it comes to whatever action can happen before they all go home?
Yeah, Democrats say they're going to introduce some more amendments that will likely be voted down by Republicans, but that will prolong the process tomorrow in session, talking about free lunches, some affordability measures. That would then force the Assembly to come back in if the Senate did pass those. But mainly what's going to happen tomorrow, not necessarily a rubber stamp, but approving what the Assembly already passed, since the Assembly is now technically done.
We've talked in the past times you've been on the show that there seems to be conversations happening across the aisle. Yeah. I got the sense from both of your guests listening to their full interviews, Kapiga, Hesselbein, that's still going on, and those conversations are happening.
Yeah, and the conversations among leadership, from what I've been told, from the governor's office to Republican leaders in the Assembly and Senate, are still happening around this potential for some tax relief. And I just think it's going to take a little more time. We've seen them reach compromises before, whether it be the state budget, whether it be shared revenue, whether it be brewers. So the possibility is there, and I think it goes back to the incentive for all of them wanting something.
All right, we're gonna talk about a question of ballots going back to 2020 in Milwaukee. He is Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12. I'm Steve Scafidi on Point Taken. Kristen is off today, but we'll check in with her in a little bit, see how she's doing with and dealing with the snow. All coming up, Point Taken, 620 WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty is taking you courtside. Powered by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Butts Insiders is your inside look at player updates, game previews, and exclusive analysis with special guests all season long.
I think after the game, he had 3 words to say: I get buckets.
Tune in every Thursday at 12:35, only on Wisconsin's Midday News.
For the win! It's gone! Hey, it's that time of year again. Yes, Point Taken. We're helping you go to a Brewers game. What do I mean? All you have to do is subscribe to our newsletter, Extra Points. Comes out every Sunday, about 9 o'clock or so. Easy read, fun read. We make recommendations. I'm actually going to do one on a show I'm watching now, currently on Netflix. It doesn't always have to be about politics, and we have fun with that newsletter, and you will enjoy it. And if you want to win a 4-pack of tickets, Section 117, what does that mean? Right behind home plate. How about that? The Cruise game against the defending American League champion Toronto Blue Jays, Tuesday night, April 14th. All you have to do is text the word EXTRA, EXTRA, EXTRA to 855-616-1620. We'll send you an easy link, 4 questions, boom, you're signed up. You get it every Sunday in your inbox. Or you can sign up, if you don't want to text, at WTMJ.com.
Look,
Look, it's Jake from our store in Kenosha.
Hi, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Your email said you had a big surprise.
Look and tell me what you see.
Wow, I see 9 perfect examples of the classic diamond solitaire engagement ring.
They're gorgeous.
These rings are exactly what people imagine when they hear the words engagement ring.
Monica, do you think it will always be like that?
Evermore.
That long?
And each of these is 3/4 of a carat.
$998.
Unbelievable. So how much do we sell them for?
That is how much we sell them for.
Can we do that?
We're the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America, Rick. We can do anything we want.
But for how long?
Evermore.
People can choose any of the 9 most popular style solitaires, 3/4 of a carat, and each of them was created in the heart of a miniature star.
5 different diamond shapes, 2 colors of gold. Evermore, just $998.
Or $14.98 with 1 carat diamond center with diamonds on the side.
Learn more at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Everyone needs a plumber in their contacts list, and I've got yours, Vince Vitrano here. It's Horner Plumbing. We had a big job on the Vitrano home, needed to move the water hookups for the washer-dryer and refrigerator, and we turned to the trusted experts for more than 50 years in southeast Wisconsin, Horner Plumbing. CJ and Kaylee, they did a great job at the house. All the follow-up with Horner was amazing, great work, and outstanding customer service. Residential, commercial, and new construction, HornerPlumbing.com. Have it in your contact list, because when it's a plumbing emergency, that is not the time you want to start your search. I've got your plumber. Full-service plumbing, water heater repairs and installs, drain cleaning, garbage disposals, bathroom and kitchen renovations. Full-service plumbing. Free quotes and upfront pricing means no surprises. You want a deal? Tell them Vinny sent you, and Horner Plumbing will knock $50 off that first service. Get started now at Horner Plumbing. That's HornerPlumbing.com.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. As the days get longer and Wisconsin weather shifts, it's a good time to check your home's comfort. If your house felt drafty this winter, it may be time for an upgrade. Hometown offers energy-efficient windows and doors from Bella, Marvin, Anderson, and more. All on display in their New Berlin showroom, all installed by Hometown employee carpenters. Wood, vinyl, or Fibrex, they have options for every budget. Call my friends today at Hometown Windows and Doors. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need.
Not a regular Monday outside because we're dealing with the blizzard conditions, so please be careful as you go around town. If you don't, and it's a cliche, but if you don't have to drive, please don't. Because the plows need to get out and do their work. Because as of 6:15 this morning, it was pretty rough. A rough road out there. Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12. Before I let you get out of here, this is sort of an interesting conversation. It goes all the way back now 6 years, 2020.
Yeah.
You had Don Millis on the show, Wisconsin's election commissioner, one of them, talking about this ballot issue. Let's play a little bit, and then we'll get your comments.
Have the ballots been destroyed even with these pending lawsuits?
Well, I would think that it's possible the attorneys or the county should have made an effort to get a court order to allowing them to dispose of these ballots as they are normally disposed of everywhere else in the state after 22 months after the 2020 election. My understanding, I don't have personal knowledge, is that those efforts have not been made. And, my concern is if the county clerk can't stop some yahoo from central Wisconsin who wants to look at these ballots, have access to them, how is the clerk going to stop the FBI with a search warrant?
Okay, a couple things. The Yahoo comment seems a little bit out of character of an election commissioner. So what do you make of that?
Referring to the lawsuits that are still ongoing. And so the reason Milwaukee's absentee ballots have not yet been destroyed is because they're still pending litigation. So the commission is Don, he's a Republican member of the commission, arguing, well, listen, I think there probably was a way to destroy these ballots. And the larger context here is coming off of last week when we saw the FBI subpoena election records in Arizona. From the Trump administration. There's some concern among election officials here that they could get a hold of ballots or subpoena records. And there's a process in Wisconsin with the absentee ballots by state law that essentially matches a number to the absentee ballot to the poll book, where you can essentially you could connect them to see who voted for who.
That's my next question, because forever in our country, who you vote for has been protected. If you tell people who you vote for, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that your ballot would be identified by this process, I think is sort of concerning for a lot of people.
And there's been a push to change that state law, and it just hasn't gone anywhere. And and Don said from the Election Commission perspective, there's no evidence yet that the FBI is working on subpoenas, but officials in Wisconsin are preparing for the what if because they've seen it in other battleground states. So the thought is if someone got their hands on the absentee ballots and the poll book, you could connect those.
What's the next steps here? We heard from the commissioner. What's the next steps? Obviously, the legal process plays out. Is that what we're waiting for?
As of now, yes. And to the commission's perspective, they're essentially kind of waiting, for this legal process to play out, which we're, 5.5 years into it. And then the thought is eventually, like is typical, those ballots would then be destroyed like they normally are after any type of election. I think Don said 22 months.
Yeah, it's interesting in what could happen legally wise where that could be challenged all the way up to a Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It says, my right to vote should never be infringed where you can identify who I voted for.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a fascinating conversation, and it just shows that what happened in 2020, and obviously there were so many absentee ballots because of the pandemic, and that's the center of a lot of the controversy as well, even as we sit here today about absentee voting and the SAVE Act. And Don said, listen, the commission is preparing for if that should pass as well, and the president now saying he essentially wants to ban mail-in voting across the board.
Yeah, the SAVE Act obviously is looming. That vote is looming in the Senate. Republicans, they don't seem to have the votes.
Correct. And at the same time, state officials are preparing for the potential if they would have to implement that. Because, I mean, listen, I guess there could be a scenario where all of those changes would have to be in place before November, which would be incredibly dramatic, right? In terms of logistics.
Yeah, and everybody thinks, November's a long... When you're doing election planning, the process and the administration, that's not that long.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, anything else you're looking to cover? Obviously, what the legislature, what the Senate does.
Yes.
Anything
Senate,
else?
I think, and it's early in the week. We have our debate a week from Wednesday, the Supreme Court. So
tell people where they can find it.
You can watch it live on WISN, March 25th, 7 p.m., streaming as well on our YouTube page, Facebook. But I'm going to be interested to see if this ramps up at all. It's been pretty low profile compared to the last two Supreme Court elections ahead of the April election. So it'll be fascinating to see if there's kind of any energy in these last couple weeks.
Matt Smith, political director and host of Upfront at Channel 12. Always appreciate you coming in, especially on today's weather. All right, lots more to talk about on the program. Kristen Bry is going to join us on the phone as she takes a snow day. She couldn't even get out of her driveway this morning, so we'll have that conversation. Lots more with Dave Spano from Axe Wealth Management. We got a local news update with Connie Weber. Before we get to that, the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump has pushed other world powers to send ships to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, which handles about 20% of the world's oil but has been virtually closed. That call went out in part to China, where the president's set to visit later this month. ABC's Karen Travers at the White House says,
we're also hearing from the White House, from the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, that the president could potentially postpone that trip, which again is scheduled for about 2 weeks from now, because he would want to be here to continue to monitor the war in Iran. But we should note the president has kept up a travel schedule over the last 2 weeks, visiting Ohio and Kentucky last week and also traveling to Florida.
Travel today affected by major storms in the U.S. with blizzard warnings in the Midwest, a tornado watch from Florida to Virginia. A CDC report found this season's flu vaccine had one of the lowest effectiveness rates in the last 2 decades. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert blizzard warning in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin until 4 this afternoon. It's been over 2 years since the National Weather Service in Milwaukee has issued a blizzard warning. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Lauren Larson breaks down the criteria.
It's all about blowing snow, 35-mile-an-hour winds, and your visibility less than a quarter mile for more than 3 hours.
Wind gusts today could reach 50 miles an hour. Snow totals in Milwaukee and Waukesha expected between 4 and 8 inches. Racine and Kenosha between 2 and 4. And areas northwest of Milwaukee between 6 and 12. Milwaukee County declares a snow emergency. All non-essential departments closed today. That includes the courthouse, Bell R. Phillips Youth and Family Justice Center, Milwaukee County Zoo, and most services at the Marcia P. Coggs Health and Human Services Center. City of Milwaukee buildings have a delayed start time. Other cities like Waukesha and Racine have declared alert snow emergencies for parking rules. More details at WTMJ.com. A car slams into an apartment building in Oak Creek after a crash on Saturday. Fire department says one car hit an unoccupied parked car, pushing it into the building near Rainbow Ridge and Springbrook Boulevard. Residents of 2 apartment units displaced, driver not seriously hurt. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 509 points, 47,068. NASDAQ up 318, 22,423. S&P 500 up 80 points at 6,713. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Crash blocking the right lane. This is going to be I-41 south, about a half mile beyond the ramp from Wisconsin Highway 158. Slower than usual travel, I-94 westbound, the Zoo interchange to Highway 16. 43 northbound, downtown to Brown Deer Road and back. It's going to take you a couple of extra minutes this morning. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. That Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert blizzard warning in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin until 4 p.m. Snow and wind, widespread blowing snow, 4 to 6 inches in Milwaukee, 6 to 12 inches northwest of the city, high of 25 today. Patchy blowing snow overnight, but gradual clearing, cold with a low of 7. Mostly sunny and 22 tomorrow. A rain-snow mix on Wednesday with a high 37. Sunshine Thursday and Friday. Thursday's high 43, Friday 47. 21 in Madison, 19 in Green Bay, 22 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:34.
Do you hear that? That means that baseball is almost here. We're counting down to opening day as the Brewers open the season against the White Sox on Thursday, March 26th. This opening day series is sponsored by Matrix Basement Finishing. Mention opening day and save an additional 10%. Visit matrixbasements.com. Catch Brewers baseball on WTMJ all season long. We are the flagship station for Brewers baseball. WTMJ.
So I was talking with another real estate agent who has been in the business even longer than I have, with a couple of other big name companies. He was talking about how it's tough to compete with us because we have good agents and we charge less commission. And he even said that he lost a few listings to us, and it always bothered him because he realized that he was doing everything that we were doing, but he was charging more. We do charge less, and we do everything that a full-service agency does. Because we are full-service real estate agents. The only difference is we give you our very best commission rate up front. You do pay for what you get. And with Century 21 Benefit Realty for 1.9% on the listing side of your home, with a cap of $19,000 commission on any size home, you can get full-service experienced agents, MLS marketing, professional photos, even virtual walkthroughs, and everything you get from any other big-name agent, all under the umbrella of the Century 21 brand. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Personal injury lawyers seem like they're a dime a dozen, but Jeff Zergabel and I are not about t-shirts or cartoons. At Pasternak and Zergabel, we focus on serious cases and real results for injured Wisconsinites. We are 2 of Wisconsin's best injury lawyers. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Our clients trust Pasternak and Zergabel because we show up, we listen, and we fight for you. If you need help, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Oh, you don't hear this kind of music that often in March.
So delightful.
Was it a week ago?
And
Was it 70 degrees
no
or
place to go.
something like that? I hope you're having a great snowy Monday. Somebody said you should be talking about the snow, so I'm going to talk about the snow. And one of the things that I said at the beginning, a couple of things. One, if you don't have to go out and drive, do not drive, because this is when the plows do their heavy lifting. And because of the conditions, the wind, and all the stuff that's happening, the less cars, the better. It is really tricky to do this kind of work, cleaning the roads the way we like them in Wisconsin, which is down to the bare pavement, with people driving to like the grocery store. I'm pretty sure most people have what they need in their house. If you don't, you could actually have someone bring it to you at some point. Anyway. So people are asking on the text line, where's Kristen? Well, Kristen tried to get out of her driveway this morning, and that didn't work. So she's now joining us on the phone. Hi, Kristen.
I am.
How
Hello.
are you?
Can you hear me? Well, I wish I was there. I really wish I was there. And I'm also very grateful for my husband this morning, because I think if it wasn't for him, my car would still be stuck in our driveway.
So tell people what you were doing, because I saw the video. Well, basically, you live on the north side of downtown.
I do. So the plows have not come through our part of Milwaukee yet. And so I feel like that is one of the benefits, of like living in Oak Creek or, where Matt Smith lives. Or like maybe your plows had already come through, but unfortunately they have not come through. It's still at 10:30 so far. We have not seen a plow, but I also don't have 4-wheel drive. So I think my first mistake was not taking my husband's car instead of just like muscle memory of taking my car. Mm-hmm. So I back out of our garage and I get stuck literally on our driveway. Yes. Like I can't even get out of our driveway. So I call Mike and I'm like, well, I didn't make it very far. So he comes out, and by the way, Frankie's home too. Frankie's school is canceled. So he leaves her inside with the TV on. He comes out, he tries to shovel me out, and he's like, all right, just floor it and get to the stop sign. I floor it and I'm going like not even a mile per hour. It's just like click, 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 click. And I basically make it to the stop sign and I'm stuck again. And so he's like, God, And so he sends me inside to check on Frankie. He kind of shovels it out. And somehow he shovels out like a parking spot in front of our neighbors across the street. And so he basically gets it into a street parking spot. So now I'm going to get beat. Once the plows do come, I'm going to get it plowed in and have to shovel myself out. But at least it's not just like abandoned in the middle of the street.
See, I'm nowhere near a window and I don't have a monitor outside. What's happening outside, right? I mean, it's still obviously very windy. It's still snowing apparently.
It doesn't, it's still snowing and it's still like sideways diagonal snow. The wind doesn't seem as crazy as it was last night. Like going to sleep last night, the wind was just insane. But it doesn't, like I'm literally looking at my car and it doesn't look like a ton of snow is accumulated on top, but it's also not none.
Yeah, it's one of those days, and I was talking about before I went to break, that if you don't have to go anywhere, what's the point? Now, I know a lot of schools are off today, like everybody from elementary, high school, college, universities, they're all shut down. So that part's gone away. Now, obviously, if you're a parent that has to get to work, and that's so obviously some people, obviously the public safety folks have to get to work still. All those folks who do all the great work with the removal, the DPW folks across this area and across the state. Did you see the stuff from up north?
Oh my God, my parents in Rapids, like they couldn't even leave their house yesterday, let alone today. And so they have, my mom sent me a picture of their porch. Their snow is up to basically 3/4 of the way of their porch, like nice. their patio chairs. And so my brother who's home right now got sent out, and he actually did. He was able to conquer the beast and use a snowblower to clear off their driveway. And so, because otherwise, with my parents in their 70s, I'm not sure they would have been stuck for a couple days.
Now, please tell me that you and Mike have a snowblower.
So funny story. We had one up until this year. Oh. We literally had one, and because the last handful of winters have not been that bad, we basically looked at the room in our garage and we're like, do we really need this? Like for the one time it snows every year, do we need this snowblower taking up this much room in our garage? And it'd be really nice to have it right now.
Yes, it would, and thankfully I will be firing mine up as soon as I get done with the show and head back home, and hopefully the roads are a little bit better. All right, we're going to let you go because I know you got to deal with a lot of stuff at home. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you.
Hopefully tomorrow?
Yeah, you should be good by tomorrow. The streets will be fine. The weather will clear, and at some point, I think it's supposed to be 50 at the end of the week, so at least that's what I heard. Always appreciate the conversation. Miss you in studio, but we'll talk tomorrow.
Talk tomorrow. Have a good show.
All right. We'll take a break here on Point Taken, a Kristen Less Point Taken. Lots to talk about, including, I'm going to talk about this next. My Snowstorm pet peeves. Things that bother me, things I observe, things I don't like. And I'm welcoming yours as well on the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talking Text Line 855-616-1620. That's all coming up right here on 620 WTMJ.
Your new mitt will steam. I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do, you can't beat Burkhart. If you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service, you can't beat Burkhart.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Skifty for Annex Wealth Management. As tax filing season ends soon, just did ours over the weekend, it can be a good time to review your financial situation, market shift, cost change, and your own priorities for 2026 may also have changed. That is where Annex Wealth Management comes in. They take the time to understand you and your complete financial picture. With their holistic approach, you can take advantage of a plan that can help you reach your goals for retirement, discover new investment strategies, have better tax awareness, that's a big one, and create an estate plan to help you ease the burden after you're gone. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Annex provides the knowledge to help you evaluate your choices and move forward with guidance. Annex is also very visible with financial education. I've done a lot of these webinars with them on inflation, jobs, economy, tax strategies, and tremendous in-person events that help keep you informed and stay prepared when the market fluctuates. Connect with them on social media, right here on WTMJ. Every Saturday morning at 10, a show I never miss with Money Talk, the Annex Wealth Management Show. And wherever you get your podcast, they're a great educational tool. Click the now famous Get Started button at AnnexWealth.com. Get a plan, get the answers. AnnexWealth.com. Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management.
Keep the comfort in and the weather out with beautiful new windows and doors from Siding Unlimited. For ideas, go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. Admit it, sometimes when you're out and about, you see people you know are older than you, but they seem to be acting younger. They're out there exercising, swimming, playing tennis, enjoying life, and you wonder to yourself, why do I feel older than I really am? Well, it's that joint pain, right? That pain that makes you feel older. You're not that old. It's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics patients right here in Milwaukee are getting relief. They're feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen on an operating table. The sooner you start treatment at QC Kinetics, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. And that's when you start to feel your age again. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Call 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. Set yourself up with a free consultation and start living your life again. 414-667-5559. Call QC Kinetics today.
Oh, I don't know about cherish, but if you like snow, this is your weekend. If you're a snowmobiler in northern Wisconsin, and I've done a lot of that on my WTMJ Outdoor Show, which you should check out, by the way. We've done everything from maple syrup production to hunting and fishing, rock climbing, waters. We did a summer and winter episode a few episodes back. Love it. If you are a snow lover, this is your week. Because you know it's like real spring is Friday. The weather's going to change completely.
I was just going to say, a couple weeks ago, I was driving in Jefferson County, and I noticed little signs, and I'm like, oh, those are the snowmobile trails, and they have like signs that advertise that you can do it. So that's really cool. I never noticed that until I guess I started producing WTMJ Outdoors.
Yes, and Jazz is the producer for that. She does a great job with that Saturday show, which you can check it out at 2 every Saturday. Or the cool thing is sometimes we put it online earlier than that. You can find it on our podcast page. Just go to WTMJ.com. Click on the podcast page, and all of our shows and all of our podcasts, including WTMJ Outdoors, Point Taken, for me, Graffitiology, which has a great one about anger management, which probably comes into practice as we sort of talk about the storm. A couple obvious pet peeves of mine, and texters nailed it. People who drive way too fast. I'm coming down Howell Avenue going north on Howell past the airport from Oak Creek this morning. I'm going about 35, which is actually the speed limit. Somebody blows by me in a truck about 50, 55. It's like, seriously? And then I saw them like losing control as they went into the intersection, because when you brake at that speed with those conditions, bad things can happen. I saw so many people who probably should not have ventured out with very low to the ground cars, vehicles, and just making the decision to go into a left turn lane or a right turn lane and just getting buried. Because that early, which is about 6:15-ish this morning in Oak Creek, State Highway 38, Howell Avenue, the lanes were open, but many of the other lanes, the turn lanes, were not. And so a pet peeve of mine is people driving too fast. The other one is, and this is the one that really drives me nuts, if you park your car outside. Now, for us down here, I think we got about 6 inches or something like that. Not the end of the world, but 6 inches is a lot of snow. If you park your car outside, remove all the snow off your car before you head out. Because when you don't do that, all that snow blows off, obscuring potentially the vision and making it way more dangerous for the people who are driving behind you. Do the work, right? The basic minimum, right? Shovel your driveway and your sidewalk if you have one. I don't have sidewalks. And clear the snow off your car. Now, thankfully, I don't have to park outside anymore. Once I got rid of my F-150, I have a Jeep now, which sits in the garage, and I park here inside, so WTMJ, so I don't have to deal with that. This is from the 608. I'm being a little contrarian here, but as an older woman, I love a good blizzard. I remember emerging the next day, the calling back and forth to neighbors as we all shovel ourselves out and the driving down country roads with walls of snow around me. I realize it's all different these days. Life is more complicated, but a lovely memory. If you don't have to go anywhere, snow's amazing. It's pretty. It looks on the trees. Kathy, my wife, always points out we have a very mature canopy on our street. The trees are, 50 plus years old. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's the cool part. But driving in this stuff, again, if you don't have to leave, why are you leaving your house? Why? Now, I get it. The Matt Smiths of the world, those of us who have to broadcast, and thankfully have a little leeway. So if Kristen couldn't make it, I can be here. I've got a Jeep with four-wheel drive. I can handle it. She's got just a car. So it's different for everybody. But if you don't have to, why do it? Now, here's something that I don't know the answer to, but I'm still going to put it out there. A lot of texters saying, what's the deal with the no salt? Because every community that's been using salt today seems to be okay, other than wet pavement. Those are decisions made community to community. And as you drive around town, if you drive through different municipalities, you'll see varying levels of snow plowing, salting. Look, the worst storms for cities and communities, any community, large and small, is the Sunday night storm, because your employees typically aren't there. You've got a decision to make. You're not going to have the time to do a lot of the pre-work. We know that a lot of communities brine now, and even though I'm not a big fan, I've been told by DPW folks it works well. So that's a part of the story as well. So that's Sunday night, late Sunday storm, and for those of us in Milwaukee County, we had rain all day, heavy rain. I know that because my sumps were, I have two sumps, they were running constantly. Then we had this ice mix for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, which thankfully that ended, and we went to all snow, and then quickly we got 4 to 6 inches. Thankfully, it was not the all-day snow, because otherwise we would have got buried here as well. The other pet peeve that people have, people that clear off some of their windows on their cars and not all of them, do the work. What are you doing? You got to be, if you want to drive safely, you got to see around you. And if you have one window cleared and your back window not cleared, you're not seeing what you need to see out there. So be careful. So I would say at the minimum, it'll be the afternoon, probably before we start to see everything improve. And a texter makes a great point about people's driving and judgment skills. Think before you go outside. You may think you're a great driver. Chances are you're probably not. I think that's a safe assumption. You're probably not as good as you think you are. Slow down. And I said this with Matt Smith earlier. Ease up with the shoveling. I know that everybody wants to get it cleared right away, but it's heavy. You've got a lot of it, especially if you're at the end of the driveway where the plows have now put an extra, foot of snow down there. I want you to be safe. I want you to survive this snowstorm of 2026. Really the first bad one we've had in a while, I think, especially if you're talking about the northern part of the state. Go easy. Give yourself a break. Go in, cool down, and go back out. Snow's not going anywhere. It's still going to be there, and you may not be going anywhere either if your streets aren't plowed. So that's my word to the wise. All right, we'll take a break here. Listen to Point Taken. A Kristen List will be back tomorrow right here on 620 WTMJ.
Liven up your yard with help from Menards. Achieve a beautiful, lush green lawn with American Seed. Choose from sun and shade, hardy, high traffic, and shady lawn mixes. The grass seed features an enhanced technology that retains moisture and helps germination. Save big on American Seed coated grass seed. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Milwaukee, be there for the night that will have everyone talking. Thanalysis Live is back. Yes, back on March 27th at the Riverside Theater. Fantastic location. It's loud, completely unpredictable. There's no telling who will come on stage. Thanalysis always brings out the stars. Stephen A. Smith, Bobby Portis, the Lopez brothers, and, of course, Giannis. This year, whoa, the nature boy, Ric Flair, is headlining with Thanalysis. And if history tells us anything, you won't be alone. More surprise guests, more big names, more moments that will lead you to say you had to be there. Get your tickets right now at TALiveshow.com. TALiveshow.com. Thanalysis Live, March 27th. That's coming up pretty soon. Riverside Theater, doors open at 6, show at 7. Milwaukee legends, nationwide stars, big stars. You never who else is going to walk on that Thanalysis Live stage. Be there. TALiveshow.com for tickets.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul. You're gonna love it all when you shop at St. Vincent de Paul. Old things, new things here for you. We're always changing, we're always new. So many friendly people, smiles from wall to wall. You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul. You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Celebrate St. Patrick's Day at the O Mine Shaft Restaurant in Hartford and Oshkosh. A big plate of corned beef and cabbage is $9.99. Buy one, get one free desserts. Cocktails, beer, and appetizers are half price from 2 till 5 at the bar only. Come celebrate.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you love snow because we got a lot of it. And be careful out there, as I said before. Texter, I was talking about pet peeves about winter storms and spring storms in this case. About the people, the idiots, their word, who have SUVs with rear defrost and wipers and never use them. How do you not want to see out your back window? Most new vehicles, trucks, cars have these things. When I see somebody with one of these ones, it's like frosted over. It's got frozen snow. Clear that stuff off. What are you doing? And there's no excuse for the people who drive around like that. Get those windows clear so you can see where you're going. My advice today, if you don't have to be anywhere, stay home. I'm looking at a lot of the freeways. There's still, it's that condition where you can see where the tires are, but there's still snow on the freeways and highways. That's an indication that you probably don't want to go too fast. And if you don't have to be out, I know it's an overused term and phrase, but please stay home if you don't have to. Kids are home today for the most part. I think everybody's canceled their educational activities. After school stuff, you have to check with your own district. Real quick again, highlighting, we only got about, about 10 days before we shut down the contest for our ticket giveaway. 4-pack of tickets, section 117, right behind home plate. Cruise game against the Blue Jays, Tuesday, April 14th. Just text the word EXTRA, EXTRA, to 855-616-1620, and you get a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets. Do not miss that opportunity. You'll enjoy the newsletter as well. We'll break for news on 620 WTMJ.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original knowledge broker, R&R Insurance. Joining me today, Jeff Salazinski, Executive Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, 2026 underway. Interested in what you're seeing out there in the issues and trends that you're paying attention to.
Thank you, Vince. Be glad to share some thoughts and insights with the audience.
Well, let's go. Jump right in.
You've heard me talk about balance sheet events in the past, meaning a large, unplanned event that requires a business to use its equity or sell an asset to cover the event or loss. Technology risk, AI misuse, or cybercrime, and climate risk like catastrophic storms, tornadoes, flood, extreme temperatures. These losses can be financially devastating. The good news, Vince, these events are insurable. A well-designed insurance program can remove the risk.
Let's explore that a bit. You said well-designed insurance program. What's that look like?
Vince, a few factors are critical here. Simple to implement, yet often not given enough attention. Property insurance limits has to reflect the actual reconstruction cost of your property. Too many are underinsured in an attempt to save a few bucks. Cybercrime insurance. Cyber policies vary greatly. You need to have the right policy with the right coverage and the right limits. Finding out you're underinsured after a loss is an expensive lesson to learn.
So, Jeff, why should a business work with R&R Insurance?
Vince, we're a family-owned, independent, top 100 insurance agency. R&R Insurance represents 50 years with the same name on the door, consistent investment in the business and our employees, and always being there for our clients. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
It's WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. If you're looking for expert care without that cold clinical vibe, Sweet Talks is where beauty, wellness, and self-confidence comes together in such a fun, welcoming space. Sweet Talks offers injectables, advanced skin treatments, even wellness services like weight loss or hormone optimization. Sweet Talks provides a comprehensive consultation designed just for you. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11 o'clock, we have snow and 22 degrees and a Fleet Farm storm team alert. Blizzard warning in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin till 4 this afternoon. Snow and wind, widespread blowing snow 4 to 6 inches in Milwaukee, up to a foot northwest of town. High today 25. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Over 10,000 We Energies customers still without power due to that winter storm. Spokesperson Brendan Conway.
We do expect that throughout the day, as the wind gusts continue through this evening, it will probably generate more outages. I mean, we're seeing tree limbs coming down. There are some ongoing issues, but we're going to get to every customer. We just appreciate their patience as we're out there working as quickly and safely as we can.
We Energies reminds customers to stay at least 25 feet away from downed wires, then report them immediately. Wisconsin State Patrol doing its best to keep up with emergency calls. In the past 24 hours, state troopers have responded to nearly 100 crashes, a dozen of them involving injuries. There have also been over 200 reports of vehicles in ditches. State officials asking people to stay home if possible and avoid unnecessary travel. And if you have to be on the roads, allow extra time and give plow trucks plenty of space to operate. frigid overnight temperatures could delay planned traffic shifts on I-94 this week.
Cold temperatures can delay traffic pattern changes. Eric Hansen with the Wisconsin DOT says certain steps can't happen in extreme overnight lows.
These switches were actually scheduled to take place earlier in the week, but because of the low overnight temps, we can't perform these traffic shifts when it's that cold.
If necessary, the work shifts back a day.
But if Wednesday night ends up looking bad, we just shift the entire operation one more day, going into Thursday, Friday.
We'll keep everyone updated if that happens. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
Governor Tony Evers is signing several new bills into law.
One expands Wisconsin Act 94, known as the Safe Haven Law. It previously gave parents 72 hours to relinquish a newborn. They'll now have 30 days after a child's birth. Other legislation signed by the governor allows law enforcement to administer roadside saliva drug tests. Evers vetoed a bill that would expand the business development tax credit. The governor claims a provision in the bill would increase the risk of fraud. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
The war in Iran, President Trump now appealing to other countries to help ensure safe passage in the Strait of Hormuz. The strait effectively closed to maritime traffic by Iran. That, of course, has made oil and gas prices soar. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent pushes back on reports that President Trump is thinking of postponing his trip to China if China doesn't agree to help protect the strait.
If the president's visit, and I'm saying if the president's visit is postponed, it would have nothing to do with the Chinese making a commitment to the Straits of Hormuz.
Meanwhile, 2 U.S. officials told ABC News the Pentagon's deploying 2,200 Marines to the region on board 3 Navy ships. White House not elaborating on that report. 10 airline CEOs calling on Congress to pay TSA workers during the partial government shutdown. They stressed in a letter on Sunday it's a necessity for security officers and air traffic controllers to be paid, especially as the summer travel season approaches. TSA workers missed their first full paycheck last week as the Department of Homeland Security largely remains without funding. New evidence in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Still images of the outside of Guthrie's home before and after the kidnapping have been recovered. ABC's Aaron Katursky says those images were taken when outdoor cameras detected motion.
Sources said the cameras caught several people in the yard during an unspecified period prior to the abduction and police officers after the abduction, but nothing from the night Nancy Guthrie was taken.
And still no sign of Guthrie. Investigators have not yet named a suspect. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 365 points. NASDAQ up 265. S&P 500 up 62. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:04.
Hey, Easter's almost here. WTMJ's John Mercure. I highly recommend the Easter Sunday brunch at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. It's one of the truly special family dining events of the year. Do it at a very special place. My favorite place, the Fox and Hounds. The food is world class. Everything you love for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including prime rib and an entire room of homemade desserts. It's all you care to eat, and kids and grandkids under 3, they eat for free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned bourbon or over 100 fine wines as you dine in one of the Fox and Hounds' 8 elegant dining rooms, maybe a mimosa. The Fox and Hounds, tucked into the Kettle Moraine Forest just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. The spring drive is spectacular. So do not cook, do not clean on Easter Sunday. Relax and enjoy your family and grandkids. The Fox and Hounds friendly staff will serve you. Call and reserve today as tables fill quickly. You'll love the Easter Sunday brunch, the Fox and Hounds.
We're all ready for a little spring, and Fleet Farm's ready to get you prepped with great buys, like our patriotic folding chair for $14.99. Superior Crabgrass Preventer with lawn fertilizer is on sale for $16.99 a bag. Bounty Essentials Double Roll Paper Towel 6-packs are $7.97. And get 50 rounds of CCI Blazer Brass 9mm handgun ammo for $10.99. Prep for less at Fleet Farm. And check out even more springtime deals at fleetfarm.com.
March has arrived, and the biggest tournament in basketball is right around the corner. Join me, Greg Matzik, Wednesday, March 18th from 4 to 5 at Kips Inn. I'll be there with the KBN crew from ESPN Wisconsin as we kick things off with our friends from Screamin' Sicilian. Get those picks locked in, talk matchups with us, or just get ready for all the action ahead. The road to a championship begins at Kips Inn in West Dallas with Screamin' Sicilian. Free pizza while it lasts. Hope to see you at Kips Inn in West Dallas on the 18th.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Wisconsin men's basketball team going dancing. Badgers selected as the 5th seed in the West region of the NCAA tournament. They play High Point in round 1. Wisconsin women's basketball team made the WBIT. They head west to play Oregon State in round 1 Thursday. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Milwaukee Bucks beat the Indiana Pacers 134-123 at home. They're back in action tomorrow for a home matchup with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Brewers narrowly avoided history on Sunday. They broke up a perfect game in the 9th inning, losing 7-1 to the Giants. They're back in action today to face the Los Angeles Dodgers. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. That crash that was blocking the right lane, I-41 south, about a half mile beyond the ramp from Highway 158. That has been cleared off the roadway. We do have a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane, 43 north at the ramp from Greenfield Avenue.
Traffic is sponsored by Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center. Burghardt Sporting Goods. Visit them today in New Berlin.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert. Blizzard warning in effect until 4 p.m. for all of southeast Wisconsin. Snow and wind today up to 6 inches in Milwaukee, up to a foot to northwest of the city with a high today 25. Patchy blowing snow, gradual clearing, low of 7 overnight. Sunny tomorrow with a high 22. A rain-snow mix on Wednesday, high 37. Sunny on Thursday and Friday. Thursday's high 43 up to 47 on Friday. Temperatures are stuck. We're still at 21 in Madison, 19 in Green Bay, 22 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
The work week is here. Let's begin with your Monday market preview with Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano on Point Taken.
Let's get right to him. CEO of Annex Wealth Management, the guy, Dave Spano, joining us. Hi, Dave.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. So I was listening to your Saturday show, which is awesome, at 10 a.m. every Saturday. And Brian and you were talking about the Middle East. Obviously, that's the big story. A lot of concern. Oil, energy, gas prices. What's your takeaway on where we're at with that story when it comes to the markets and the economy?
Well, you know, if I'm going to get on the air here and say this is how it's going to be, I mean, that doesn't have a lot of credibility, right?
No.
So I think we're all learning as we go. But let's just back up before this. You and I had a conversation several weeks earlier, and you said, what are you worried about? And I said, there's really two things that are brewing that, you know, the market's really not covering. Number one, the fact that the Gerald S. Ford has moved over, that all the airports over there are getting filled with U.S. airplanes. I said that's not a joke. Something's going to happen. And the likely scenario would be some disruption in the Straits of Hormuz. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm a soothsayer, but that is exactly what has happened. That was one concern. The second concern, and we'll get to that, was the private credit issue. So where are we? Well, gas prices are now at, you know, approximately nationally, if you take an average, about $3.75. That's exactly where they were from 2022 to 2024.
Right.
So it's not a shock, but there are some folks in the industry are saying that this is not done and that oil prices can go higher. Today, we see oil prices came down. The VIX, which is the measure of fear, has come down and the market is up. So that is the story. What, you know, can the Straits of Hormuz get opened? Can we get even Iranian tankers through there? And can we get oil distributed to around the world?
Hey, real quick on that, because whenever we talk about gas prices, oil, energy, I always get a text that says, okay, so we're a net exporter. We actually send oil and energy out of this country. And really, the Straits of Hormuz doesn't impact us directly. Indirectly, it does. But we get very little of our oil from that area. Why are we seeing this impact on our gas prices?
It does have an effect. I mean, it's about 20% of our production. So we do get oil from there, but it's really more of what it does around the world. And I think that's a fair. Why are our gas prices going up? It is still a matter of there is still a supply shock, and so we do get some of that. Now, we released part of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which mitigated that a little bit. But there's still an oil issue. But now you have to think about the rest of the world. It does depend on that. And, you know, for us, it's not a matter of life or death. For other parts of the world, it really is. And it's not just oil that goes through the straits. It's things like ammonia, things like that create fertilizer. So this may be a longer-term story. So if we can't get fertilizer come planting season, and then you have a bad crop, and then you start to see food prices go up in the end of the year, that is both a geopolitical, economic, and political issue.
This may be a political question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We know that the reserves were utilized to sort of tamp down these massive price increases when it comes to the price of gas at your favorite pump of choice. What are we seeing as far as, you just talked about it, fertilizers and the impact, which is already coming off a sort of a year of concern when it came to soybeans and other crops for our farming community, the folks who are working in ag who have to now deal with that one on top of all the other issues?
Yeah, it's an issue, and so that's why we're watching it so closely. We did highlight that, as you know, on Saturday morning, Dr. Brian Jacobson and myself, and saying, what are we worried about? I mean, there's a lot of positive things that are happening. We can get to that, but the things that we're concerned about, if that continues to stay closed. Now, it looks like some other NATO countries are going to help some of those ships get through the straits. And it's not just the general ships in the area from Saudi Arabia and the like. It's Iranian tankers as well that the U.S. and NATO are allowing to go through there to get oil to China and to Russia. And you would think that's not a top of our concern. But as you know, the president is supposed to talk to the prime minister of China coming down the road. We'll see if that meeting gets canceled or not.
CEO Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management, our great partner here at 620 WTMJ, joining us. He does every Monday at 11:07. All right, so you mentioned China. There's supposed to be this big meeting in advance of the end of the month meeting where Trump was supposed to be the leader of China. How is that situation sort of impacted by all of these news stories?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now they're supposed to be meeting. In fact, the Chinese counterparts and Scott Bessent are supposed to be meeting in Paris. It's the meeting before the meeting, and they're trying to lay out an agenda, and so that is happening. Reports are that they have been good, and as you know, since the day that Scott Bessent was nominated, I said he is the adult in the room. We listen to what he says. He is thoughtful. And so right now, if they can set up the conversation in the agenda for the Chinese-U.S. talks to go forward, so be it that the leaders get the credit for it. But this is the work behind it that's super important. And so we can see if we can go through that and have an opportunity to have a good conversation and allow that China get pledged to oil in those other countries. I think that's going to be a productive conversation.
Lots more to talk about with Dave Spano, CEO at Annex Wealth Management. Your great resource always, annexwealth.com. Click on the now famous Get Started button. We're going to talk about home sales data. We got the Fed decision coming up on Wednesday. Tax time. I just did my taxes this year. Federal government will be richer after I send that check in. We'll talk to Dave about all of that after this.
Milwaukee, this is the night you don't want to miss. Thanalysis Live is back, March 27th at the Riverside Theater in downtown Milwaukee. You never know who's going to step on stage. Thanalysis has shocked the crowd in past years with surprise appearances by Giannis and Stephen A. Smith. This year, Ric Flair headlines Thanalysis Live. The WWE legend, the Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy. You know there will be plenty of surprises. Friday night, March 27th at the Riverside Theaters. Lock in your tickets now. TALiveshow.com. That's TALiveshow.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scavini for QC Kinetics. I love talking about QC Kinetics because I don't want to feel older faster than I should, right? And if you're out there thinking, hey, I don't want to do that either. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. You know this. Your knees, your joints, everything hurts. But here's the good news. I did something about it. I had bad elbow pain. I couldn't even turn the doorknob with my left arm. I went to QC Kinetics, had 5 treatments last summer, but a couple weeks apart, 2 or 3 weeks apart. And at the end of that process, end of those treatments, real science treatments took away my pain, restored my body, used my own regenerative healing powers of my body. Whether you're training for a marathon or want to walk around play with your grandkids, or maybe you have a very heavy physical job, you want to climb those ladders again. Those are all real stories from real QC Kinetics patients. And I gave you my testimony. The sooner you start the treatment, the faster the inflammation goes down, trust me. And the sooner that joint damage slows down. And my elbow is as good as new if you're watching on YouTube, and you should be. My elbow, fantastic. Here's what you got to do. It starts with a free consultation. Talk to Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her great team. 414-667-5559. I'll go even slower for you. 414-667-5559. You don't need surgery. You don't need meds. Try it. QC Kinetics.
Imagine working with a contractor that quits halfway through a project or never calls you back when you have questions. Or worse, takes your money and you never see them again. Unfortunately, we hear about them all the time. Hi, this is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, and Siding Unlimited is absolutely not that company. Siding Unlimited has been doing business for 32 years, proving to be an honest, ethical, and forthright company. If you're looking for the honest guys for your next siding, windows, roofing, and doors project, stop by sidingunlimited.com today.
Love that music. That means we're talking to Dave Spano, president, CEO, I should say, CEO of Annex Wealth Management. All right, Dave, we have a lot of news stories. There's always things happening during the week. And this week, the Fed making a decision on Wednesday, expected to, leave the rates as they are?
Yep. There probably won't be much of a change, and that's not a surprise. In fact, I've said even those people who want to be critical of the Federal Reserve, and there's a lot of people who are, either because sometimes they're too late, they are pretty good at transmitting and telling us what's going to happen before the meeting, and so it's pretty baked in the cake right now. If you look at even at the betting odds, that there will be no change in this meeting, but it's not just really about. It's not really just about those rates right now, but you think about what that affects. And, we always talk about that rate that they control, Steve, is just that short-term interest rates between banks. But it can affect other rates like, for example, mortgages. And so that is something that we have to pay attention to because that works right through the economy.
We're looking at, I think home sales data gets released this week. We know that rates are around 6%. How would you, from your position, rate the home sales and the home sale industry?
Well, we're watching. One of the things that we do watch are where rates are, and rates now down to 6% is a good number. We haven't seen that in a number of years now. But what's really messing with the home sales right now is the weather. Right, we've had. Obviously, we're talking today on the day of a blizzard, but we've had extreme cold and snow in January and February, and so that distorts it. And now you've got this storm, and I know we're Wisconsin centric here, but this storm is all the way out to the East Coast right now.
It's a big storm.
It's a big storm. So what we're going to have to see now is if a couple of things: the weather clears out, if we start to see the tulips popping up at the end of March, if consumer confidence begins to or continues to erode, that's not going to be good. So interest rates come down either on their own or by the Federal Reserve. We start to get into the spring selling season, April, May, June, and lower oil prices all will go into consumer confidence, will kick the housing markets back into gear.
All right, Dave, you always tell me that taxes are a year-round conversation, but we know that it's tax season. We know the preparers are happening. We did our taxes over the weekend. Generally, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that refunds are generally bigger this year. A lot of people pointing to the big, beautiful bill that sort of changed some tax policy or at least established current policy and kept it in place.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the average refund is now $3,800. And so that's the average. Obviously, there's some people who get zero and some people get more than that. But that's up about 10% from last year. And that is good. And that generally is an injection into the economy. But on the other side, you've got higher oil prices. And so it is distorting that free cash flow a little bit. But, will people begin to spend it on discretionary items? Or are they going to repair their balance sheets? In other words, they're going to pay down debt with that $1,300. We'll have to see. But higher interest rate debt is still beginning to increase. We look at credit cards outstanding, and that number keeps going up, which is not a great sign. It is the picture of an economy under stress. And so the odds of a recession, even though we have positive GDP, the odds of a recession in 2027 have begun to gone up, and that's something that it's a concerning point.
Dave Spano joining us on 620 WTMJ's Point Taken. Any earnings data or other big news that are coming out besides the Fed news this week?
Yeah, earnings was pretty good. The earnings were pretty good, and that's a big positive. And so we talked about a lot of negative things from private credit, which we really didn't get into, to the war, to higher interest rates. All of those things are negative, but the positive part is GDP is positive and expected to increase. Earnings have been double-digit and are expected to be double-digit the next few quarters in this year. And so that is really good news. We see Dollar Tree, which is really a good example of talking about an economy right now, that reported earnings this morning, and they beat expectations. And so, that's benefiting from higher individuals searching for bargains. It's unbelievable. People are going to the Dollar Tree that you haven't seen before. And FedEx, of course, is going to report on Thursday. And obviously, people continue to use all kinds of online services, and FedEx is a beneficiary of that.
Somebody asked this question, Dave. So if consumer debt is going up, people using their credit cards more, are manufacturers taking on more debt, or are they sort of looking the other way?
No, manufacturers are. It depends on where you want to look. When you talk about generally manufacturers in general, the data center build out is just a boom across the economy, right? And so if you own equities in data centers and those who the picks and shovels of those are benefiting. But then you have to look at other parts of the industry. The GDP is expected to grow, and if the print is 5% or better, that is a really good number, because we all know that you need 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP to have a recession. When you have a 5% GDP number, you're a long ways away from that. So is this what if it goes through, if the economy gets through this hiccup, I hope that's all it is, that it's not a forever war, that we're in and out of there and get control and move on. The VIX, which is a fear index, that'll come down. The oil prices will come down and the market will recover.
Yeah. Also hope that this is a short-lived war in the Middle East.
So do I.
The global economy is, I think, and this, again, I'm not an economist, but it seems poised to do some great things. We know that our economy is poised to do that as well. So there's some positives there, and I love the fact that you ended on that.
No doubt.
Dave Spano, yes?
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say, we don't, this is not George Bush with Don Rumsfeld in his ear,
No.
right? Saying that, we're going to try to get democracy. This is just an opportunity to change regimes, hopefully, and get in and get out, and we'll see if that is really the story. So, sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, no problem there. Hopefully the snow won't be long-lived, because you've got a golf game to get to this
You
year.
and me. You and I are playing together this year.
All right, Dave Spano, Annex Wealth, annexwealth.com. Great place to get started. Just click on that button, and you'll have a change in how you look at your finances, your budgets, even your retirement plans, all part of that story. Thank you, Dave.
Okay, thank you. See ya.
All right, quick break here on Point Taken. Kristen Less, she's snow daying it with her family today. I'm here, though. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Have you listened to WTMJ Outdoors yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Every Saturday at 2 right here on 620 WTMJ. Stories of the outdoors of Wisconsin and beyond as we celebrate everything in recreation. This week, Eric Brown, Outdoor Living Unlimited, our great sponsor here in WTMJ Outdoor, joins us. Lang Lake County, we're talking about activities in the winter and spring up there, and we wrap it up with a conversation about all that fish you caught this winter.
It's WTMJ Outdoors, presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often, because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved. But here, you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Accident Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, your potentate of lower rates. You've probably heard mortgage rates are at their lowest in 4 years. Acunet's helping a metric ton of our clients take advantage of this dip in rates while it lasts, because there's no guarantee how long this window of opportunity will actually stay open. We'd like to help you consider your refi options too. Sure, you can call your current lender for a one-size-fits-all refi that probably comes with high closing costs and no real in-depth consultation. Or you can click on the blue button
Consultant for a no-pressure, expertly crafted refi checkup. We'll help you compare all your options, including our genuine no-loan cost refi, which over half of our clients choose. What about a 28 or 29-year loan instead of going back to 30 years? And how much money should you bring to closing or get back instead? Your friendly Accunet loan consultant will lay out all your options side by side and help you make the right decision for you. Find out how much you can save by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows, siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers. 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Oh, it's that time of year. Not the snow, not the snowstorm, not the bad driving, not the people driving too fast for conditions, not the people who don't take the snow off their car, not the people that don't use their lights, headlights in storm, all that stuff. Forget about it. I'm thinking Brewers opening day. That's only like 10 days away. Isn't that cool? Yeah, Kristen and I will be broadcasting the Brewers pregame, essentially. The 2-hour show, Point Taken, will be all Brewers. Greg Matzek's going to sit in with us, so we'll be doing some great interviews from the dugouts. He will be. And we're picking all that stuff up and having some fun as well. So here's the cool part. You could win a 4-pack of tickets, not for that game, because that's usually sold out, for a game on April 14th, the night game, against the defending American League champ Toronto Blue Jays. Really good team. Should have beaten the Dodgers last year. It was a tremendous World Series. One of the best ever, according to Bob Costas, who would know. He knows his baseball. So we have this little thing called our newsletter. It's called Extra Points. It's a really fun read, and people who have discovered it have said, wow, that is cool. It's sort of a highlight reel of some of the cool stuff we did on the show, links to interviews, recommendations. We do fun stuff. We do serious stuff, books we're reading. My book list is growing longer. I think I'm up to 8 now this year. And I'll have, at some point, I'm going to have the full list of all the books I've read this year. And they're all recommended by other people, including you on the text line. So thanks to those folks who turned me on to some great books. Currently reading The Nazi and the Psychiatrist, the book that the movie Nuremberg was based on. And, man, shame on the Academy for not nominating Russell Crowe for the Herman Goebbels role. I mean, he was incredible in that movie. Should have been nominated. But anyway, I digress. I want you to sign up for the newsletter. You will enjoy it. It's a fun read. It takes 5 minutes tops, longer if you want to click on some of the links, which a lot of people do. Text the word extra, EXTRA, EXTRA to 855-616-1620. We'll send you the link. It's like 4 questions. Your name, your zip code, your email. Boom, done. Simple. And you get the newsletter sent right to your inbox. Easy to read, fun to read. Trust me on this. We wouldn't waste your time with nonsense. Kristen and I are not nonsense peddlers. We deal in facts, we deal in fun, and we share information we think will make you smarter, maybe give you a laugh or two, and certainly interviews that we're proud of. That's sort of what we do with the newsletter as well. So text the word EXTRA, EXTRA, 855-616-1620. We're hoping to talk to the winner live on the opening day show. So we'll pick the winner in the morning. We'll try to contact them, and if they're willing and able, we'll talk to them live on our Brewers broadcast on the 26th of March, which is only, 10 days away. So, all right, sign up for that. What are we going to talk about after the break? There's so many things we could talk about. There's a couple things that are swirling. We mentioned with Matt Smith, online betting in Wisconsin. There's some angles to that I want to get to. And TSA. I want to suggest something that you do something nice for TSA because those folks are working without a paycheck. That's never good. And they're doing some heavy lifting and hard work. They got to deal with our nonsense, talking about nonsense. People show up with things they shouldn't show up with. People taking liquids through the security checkpoints. They got to deal with all of that. So we'll talk about that in the next half hour on Point Taken. We got local news with the fantastic Connie Weber. Here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. President Trump just now about Iran's Air Force and Navy.
They have been literally obliterated.
But as long as Iran controls oil shipping, prices are high. To counter that, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC the U.S. is allowing Iranian oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And the Wall Street Journal says the U.S. will announce a coalition of countries to escort ships. Bessent pushing back on a report that the president may put off his planned trip to China unless it joins the coalition.
If the president's visit, and I'm saying if the president's visit is postponed, it would have nothing to do with the Chinese making a commitment to the Straits of Hormuz.
Roughly 4,000 flights are canceled already today, says FlightAware, because of rough weather in the Midwest and East. O'Hare is hit hardest right now, but many airports are seeing long lines because of TSA sick-outs. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. Widespread snowfall and gusty winds causing blizzard conditions across southeast Wisconsin. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson.
And even though crews are out there trying to treat the roadways, trying to clear things, that snow's just blowing right back over the roadways. So it makes it very difficult to travel, and that's why travel is not advised this morning as the storm system makes its way through.
Wind gusts today expected to be between 30 and 50 miles an hour. Snow totals in Milwaukee and Waukesha 4 to 8 inches. Racine and Kenosha could get between 2 and 4, and areas northwest of Milwaukee between 6 and 12 inches. A bill that would ban the use of data center non-disclosure agreements making its way through Madison. It would prohibit companies and local governments from using NDAs or other secrecy deals to conceal information about data center projects from the public or from local officials. The bill also prevents local governments from approving a data center if those requirements are violated. Governor Evers signing a bill that expands the state's safe haven law. It previously gave parents 72 hours to relinquish a newborn. They'll now have 30 days after a child's birth. Other legislation signed by the governor allows law enforcement to administer roadside saliva drug tests. Evers vetoed a bill that would expand the business development tax credit. Governor claims a provision of the bill would increase the risk of fraud. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow up 307 points, 46,866. NASDAQ up 237 at 22,343. S&P 500 up 55 points, 6,687. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-41 north at the ramp from Greenfield Avenue. Right lane there is blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Still slowing. 43 north and southbound between downtown and Brown Deer Road. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert blizzard warning in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin until 4 this afternoon. Expect snow and wind today. Widespread blowing up to 6 inches in Milwaukee, up to 12 inches northwest of the city. High today 25. Patchy blowing snow overnight, then gradual clearing, low of 7. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high of 22. A rain-snow mix returns on Wednesday with a high 37. Sunshine Thursday and Friday. Thursday's high 43. Friday up to 47. 21 in Madison, 19 in Green Bay, and 22 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
We're all ready for a little spring, and Fleet Farm's ready to get you prepped with great buys, like our patriotic folding chair for $14.99. Superior crabgrass preventer with lawn fertilizer is on sale for $16.99 a bag. Bounty Essentials double roll paper towel 6-packs are $7.97. And get 50 rounds of CCI Blazer Brass 9mm handgun ammo for $10.99. Prep for less at Fleet Farm. And check out even more springtime deals at fleetfarm.com.
I didn't want my kids spending their weekends fixing my gutters or worrying if I was okay. Hi, this is Arvid. At Capri Communities, I have new friends, fun activities, and a safe, maintenance-free home. My children get peace of mind, and I get to enjoy life to the fullest. It's the best gift I could give them and myself.
Give the care that has your parent enjoying life again at Capri Communities. Get started today at capricommunities.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game.
In 6 minutes. No more?
No less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. The sounds of spring, and of course,
it is out of here!
Brewers baseball is back. Spring training baseball is here.
Swing and a drive, left center field, up into the blue sky. This is way back. Look out on that berm. Goodbye.
Join us for our next spring training broadcast. as the Brewers take on the Dodgers. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 3. We are the flagship station for your Milwaukee Brewers. 620 WTMJ.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Monday show. Yes, you're surviving a snowstorm, I hope. I'm always a little self-indulgent when I have Jazz cue this song up. I just love it. It's a different thing that I like to do when I'm working solo, and Kristen is off today. If you haven't noticed, she'll be back tomorrow, taking a snow day. Couldn't even get out of her driveway or street, so we can all sort of relate to that in our own unique ways. I'm looking at live pictures, and there's a lot going on weather-wise today. So a couple things. If you're in northern Wisconsin, take the day off. What are you doing? Stay home. They're telling you not to drive. Listen to what those folks are saying. Do not drive. And if you're in southern Wisconsin, especially southeast, especially here, where the flagship is, as we sit on Wisconsin Avenue in downtown Milwaukee in the Annex Wealth Management Studios, unless you got to be somewhere, what are you doing? Like, I'm going to leave here today, and I've got a Jeep with four-wheel drive. I'll be fine. I was fine this morning at 6. But I saw a lot of people who weren't. Those low-to-the-ground cars that got stuck as soon as they made a right turn or a left turn, and they're basically trying to, like, push themselves. It's like a recipe for disaster. Don't put yourself through that. Unless you have a life-critical job, healthcare, public safety, I would suggest you call your boss in a nice, friendly tone and say, look, I don't think I can get there on time. Give me like an hour or two. Let's things settle down. So that's my advice to all of you. I'm looking at the freeways, still snow covered. The city streets still a mess. Depending on where you live, they might be better or worse. Give it a time, just to give it a time out, as they say to little kids when they act badly. Give it a time out. Let the roads clear. Let those processes work. That'll be just a lifesaver for you, including those who risk their lives by driving way too fast. We spent some time talking about snowstorm pet peeves earlier. So just slow down, be careful, and especially with the shoveling, I'll be clearing my driveway as soon as I get home with a snowblower. Thank you, Aaron's. To sort of get the process started. But again, take your time, be careful, especially if you're shoveling with a shovel. Don't overdo it. Snow can really tax you. Snow shoveling can really, really impact you. So be careful out there. We don't need any extra visits to emergency rooms across our area, especially with all the things we're dealing with. All right. I mentioned this. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this because I already used up a lot of it, but there's a conversation. We had this conversation with Matt Smith earlier, political director at Channel 12, who joins us every Monday at 10. There are conversations about a sort of expanding the world of gambling in the state. What I mean, online gambling, right? And there's different versions of this, whether it's completely outside the process that we typically know in the state of Wisconsin, which is the tribes control that, a pact with our government in the state of Wisconsin. And there's like a hub and spoke model that talked a lot about what does that mean, where they would still control, the tribes would still control some of the online betting platforms. So you wouldn't have to go through the rigmarole of trying to get some federal approvals. That's possible. We know that the legislature is sort of mixed on this, and Matt was telling us that Devin LeMahieu is sort of out on it. Other Republicans are open to the idea. The compromise word comes into play. Here's some of the concerns that I have. And I'm a guy who loves to gamble. I go to Vegas. I'll be going to Vegas next month again. I go 3 or 4 times a year. Love it. And gamble. Play a lot of blackjack for many hours at tables in Las Vegas. In other places. I played in Washington, D.C., played in a few other places in the country. We know that sports betting has exploded. Since about 2018, online betting, there's famous platforms. BetMGM is the one I use in states that have legalized online betting, and especially in Vegas. You can bet on sports, prop bets, fun stuff. But one of the concerns, because I wanted both sides of this, is young men who are increasingly spending more and more time online and gambling with money that they may or may not have. And I think that's something we at least have to pay attention to. I know friends of mine who abhor gambling, don't want to talk about it, don't go to Vegas, don't like Vegas, don't ever want to risk money in any way other than maybe a tourney pool at this time of year. That'd be about it. So the financial consequences of some of this behavior, what we see, especially young men, not so much young women, with all the online sports betting opportunities, you see things like increasingly higher numbers of bankruptcies, lower credit scores. They can't pay their bills. They're investing, they say, in online gambling, losing, can't pay their bills. And, of course, the next part of that is debt collection. So those numbers are increasing. But the other side of it, again, to both sides, it does generate a ton of tax revenue for states that have it. So if you're pro-online sports betting, you're saying you can't just focus on the negatives, which I just talked about, without mentioning that there's positives, including, I think my colleague and teammate Jeff Sherman was talking about this, utilizing maybe some revenue from some of these things for other things. Don't just throw it in the coffers. Use potentially tax revenue from sports betting, online gaming, in whatever format we adopt, if we do in Wisconsin, for a relief fund for, I don't know, road repairs, facilities maintenance, recreational opportunities, making our experiences outdoors, and somebody who hosts an outdoor show, that's critical, right? Whether it's trail management, when you're talking about ATV, UTV, or snowmobiling, whether you're talking about pathways at public golf courses and some of those things, walking trails along some of our great lakefronts. All of these things could be utilized, tapping into those funds. So that's why I think this is an important moment in Wisconsin. Do I think it's going to happen right now? No. I don't see the legislature, specifically the Senate, moving closer to approving it. I know there's a lot of support out there. I just don't see it happening yet. Will it happen at some point? You bet it will. That's my prediction. I just don't think it's going to happen this year with a Senate and a legislature who is not all the way there yet, the votes they need to get this done. That's a prediction. Doesn't mean it's going to happen that way, but that's where I feel. So there is both sides to this. And I think you have to understand the nuances of this idea that we should have the freedom to bet online, again, which I'm a proponent of, but also understand there are consequences to that behavior. We'll switch the conversation to the TSA. Those folks are working hard for no paychecks. I'm going to discuss that after this.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristen Bry, and it's time to make sure that you have a great smile for all those photo ops that are coming up this spring and summer. I want to tell you about my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care. If you've been putting off a cleaning, dealing with tooth sensitivity, or you're just finally ready to fix what's been bothering you, this is the place to start. Dr. Michaels and his team are welcoming, thorough, and focused on your comfort, and they'll explain your options clearly and help you feel at ease in the chair. From regular checkups to crowns, cosmetic improvements, implants, and Invisalign, they can handle it all. And if something happens unexpectedly, they offer emergency dentistry too. So just call 262-567-7224 to request an appointment or visit drmichaelsdentalcare.com.
Ever wonder what it takes to feel truly wealthy and financially comfortable? Schwab asked Americans that question, and most said at least $2 million. But here's the thing, your number might be different. And that makes sense because your dreams, travel, retirement, and the legacy you want to leave are unique to you. That's why you need advice that's just as personal. The team at Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen and help you build a plan that fits your life. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
So many emails coming in, this trip will sell out. Vince Vitrano here, Vinny's European Vacation. Would love to have you join us in October, traveling to southern Italy and Sicily with WTMJ and Colette Vacations. Our tour begins in Palermo, Sicily, happens to be where my dad's family is from. He's coming on the trip as well. Agrigento, Sorrento, Amalfi Coast, Positano, Pompeii, and we end in Rome. Nothing you need to do except sign up and show up, as my team at Colette has thought of and taken care of everything. I'll send given you a brochure with a breakdown of each day on the trip, all the sites, sign-up information, and even your all-in cost and options. Email me, Vince@WTMJ.com. That's Vince@WTMJ.com. We've got a special get-together here at the station coming up as well. You can meet me, talk with all the folks at Colette. That's coming up on March 24th.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
Vince@WTMJ.com, Southern Italy and Sicily this fall.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Spring is quickly approaching, and it's the perfect time for you to get an awning installed so it's ready once the temps warm up. Comfort Awnings is a local, family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Receive a free motor with the purchase of any retractable awning or screens. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests.
That's WTMJ.com/contests.
Thanks for tuning in on this Monday edition of Snowy Monday here in Wisconsin. Hopefully you are safe and sound, snug in your own homes. I don't know if I'm a critical employee, but I decided I should be here this morning. And Kristen tried to get, she just couldn't get out of her neighborhood. They hadn't plowed yet. So she'll be back tomorrow. We miss her as always because the conversation always better when two of us are in studio, the beautiful Annex Wealth Management studio here on Wisconsin Avenue downtown. Really quickly, I want to talk about TSA. I know I sort of used up a lot of time in the first segment of this half hour. Right now, TSA, those agents are not being paid. There's a lot to that story. Obviously, the shutdown and the inability of our Congress to sort of get along. A lot of foot stomping over, I want this or I'm not going to do this. You know, the war of words in Congress is not new, but it's so maddening because one of their principal jobs is to debate, pass legislation that not only improves our way of quality of life in our country, but also passes budgets that are responsible. They're not adding to our national growing deficit. But when you talk about travel, and I've had both experiences. I used to travel a lot. Every week I was flying somewhere. I had reps across the country in my private sector world in my life. And so I spent a lot of time in airports. And I always appreciated the people that did the work, right? The heavy lifting. From handling your bags to, Ubers and taxi drivers and people inside the airport, the TSA, the security folks, people that worked in the restaurants at airports and the bars, all of those folks. And most of those folks are still getting paid, except TSA. So they're faced with a decision. And we already know that hundreds of TSA agents have already quit their jobs. How many people, and raise your hand out there in Radio Land if you want, can afford to do a job that you're not getting paid for? Now, you get back pay, but that doesn't pay your bills right now. You have to have a pretty understanding creditor to say, oh, we'll catch up when you get paid. That's not how it works. Last weekend, many of those TSA workers lost their first full paycheck because the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, funding for that lapsed in February. There's this standoff between Republicans and Democrats over immigration reform and a lot of other issues. Now, while I appreciate the effort of CEOs of airlines to restore funding, which I think should be separate from some of the other things, which is the problem, right? Everything's lumped together now. And that foot stomping I was just talking about, the political temper tantrums, don't allow us to get the work done. But who out there thinks that we're safer if we have less TSA security, that we're safer if, in some people's minds, we should privatize TSA, and I'm not a fan of that at all. Jazz made a great point during the break. This is one of those jobs, like public safety, that I think is best done by a governmental organization. It just makes me feel more secure and safe. I've seen what happens with sort of the shareholder mindset of companies and corporations who sometimes let security and safety lapse in the interest of the bottom line. Not all of them, but Boeing comes to mind. Thanks, Dave Calhoun, former CEO of Boeing. I just thought it's not something I want to mess with. And despite whatever we know about our economy, whether it's challenged, some people are struggling, people are still traveling. The numbers are still hitting new records. Every time we have a holiday, new record for Thanksgiving, new record for holiday travel at Christmas and Hanukkah time. That's the problem here. Congress better get off their you-know-whats and get something done on this. I don't care if you want to do it all in one package. That's not been a productive way to do business as of late. So you better start parsing this stuff out one by one by one. And one of those things you need to parse out is to get the TSA agents paid and back to work. They deserve it. Now, you can't give a donation to a TSA agent. I know a lot of you would say, can I give them a tip? They don't take tips. It's illegal, I think, actually, for all the obvious reasons. But here's one thing you can do. It costs you no money. Be nice to them. Don't be the idiot in the line who wants to argue with a TSA agent who's not being paid currently. Don't be that idiot. And if you are one of those idiots, I hope your fellow travelers call you out because you deserve it. Pay TSA. They do a hard job every day. They deserve to be paid. And Congress, get back to work. Stop showing up on TV. That's not where your workplace is. That's fun entertainment. For who, I don't know, but apparently for you. Show up and get your job done. And oh, by the way, the travel to get back to Washington, D.C. is going to be a lot more difficult. 2 reasons. 1, snow. 2, TSA security lines. Good luck.
At Redo Cabinets, we know the kitchen is the heart of the home. It's the place that design and function matter most. Mark Olson here. Redo Cabinets wants to transform your kitchen into your vision without the mess, the stress, or the cost of a full kitchen remodel with cabinet refacing. During our spring sales event, learn all about refacing, premium cabinet products, and plenty of options for color, hardware, style, and accessories. And now get a free premium countertop with every refacing project, or payments that start as low as $195 a month. Call today and book a free, no-obligation consultation. Redo Cabinets. 414-677-6417. 414-677-6417. That's 414-677-6417. Or visit us at redocabinets.com. That's redocabinets.com. Serving homeowners for over 70 years in Illinois and Wisconsin. Don't replace, reface with Redo Cabinets.
Accident Mortgages and Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickard, your potentate of lower rates. You've probably heard mortgage rates are at their lowest in 4 years. Accunet's helping a metric ton of our clients take advantage of this dip in rates while it lasts because there's no guarantee how long this window of opportunity will actually stay open. We'd like to help you consider your refi options too. Sure, you can call your current lender for a one-size-fits-all refi that probably comes with high closing costs and no real in-depth consultation. Or you can click on the blue button for a no-pressure, expertly crafted refi checkup. We'll help you compare all your options, including our genuine no-loan cost refi, which over half of our clients choose. What about a 28 or 29-year loan instead of going back to 30 years? And how much money should you bring to closing or get back instead? Your friendly Accunet loan consultant will lay out all your options side by side and help you make the right decision for you. Find out how much you can save by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Amore, pepperoni, amore, mozzarella, amore. Screaming Sicilian, screaming Sicilian, more.
Screaming Sicilian frozen pizza. More toppings, more flavor. More is amore.
At Gruber Law Offices, we've helped tens of thousands of families after a serious accident. Our priority has always been our clients. We're here for you whenever you may need us. One call, that's all.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a Milwaukee police officer shot a person after being dragged several blocks by a vehicle on the city's south side. Reports indicate the incident happened near the intersection of 15th and Grant.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m.
A man remains hospitalized this afternoon after Milwaukee police say he swallowed illegal drugs after trying to get away from police.
Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I am Steve. There are many
of that, there is no doubt. I am Steve. Kristen will be back tomorrow after this snow day. Looking forward to that conversation. We have a lot of fun guests this week and a lot of important guests, as we often do on Point Taken. A couple things. One, get those headlights on if you're driving around. If you don't have to drive, though, stay home. Be careful shoveling snow. Be careful doing anything outside today. It is nasty out. The wind and the snow and all the things that make life miserable in the winter in Wisconsin, which we got all in like one day yesterday with the heavy rain here in southeast Wisconsin, then ice, then snow. It was a trifecta of badness, at least in my mind. For all the snow lovers, enjoy it because you got a nice 2-foot base up northern Wisconsin. Snowmobilers, ATV, UTV. Many of the folks we talk to on our outdoor show, which airs every Saturday right here on 620 WTMJ, or you can find it on our podcast page. Last thing, as I get out of here, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Why am I talking about this so much? Because you only got 10 days left to win a chance, to have a chance to win 4-pack of tickets. Section 117, what does that mean behind home plates? April 14th is the night game against the Blue Jays. Just text the word extra to 855-616-1620. You got a chance to win. I'll see you tomorrow. Drive safe.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At Og Prep, faith ignites